Okay. Yep, I think that we are ready to start. I will quickly introduce Daisuke Yoshimoto here. He's one of the main Activiti 5, 6, and 7 contributor. He lastly contributed with Activiti 7 and a full component there, so we are quite happy to have him in the community. He's also quite high in the ranking in the Alfresco forums, answering Activiti questions. So he's kind of an expert of that. And he's now presenting about how he's using Activiti in one of his customers for doing manga publishing, something very Japanese. So, Daisuke, please.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this my session. My name is Daisuke Yoshimoto. First of all, please let me introduce myself. I'm a member of Activiti developer team, but I'm not Alfresco employee. I belong to the Japanese software company called NTT Data INTRAMART. I'm working with the BPM suite product using Activiti engine. In relation to this work, I'm maintaining Activiti engine itself. Also, I'm taking part in the development of Activiti new version. Today, I will share our use case about Activiti engine in my company product. Here is the outline of this session. First, I will introduce my company profile. Next, I will explain how we embedded Activiti engine into our product and how we extended Activiti engine for our customers' demand. Lastly, I will introduce our BPM product and our customer use case. Okay, let's get down to the first main topic. What is INTRAMART? INTRAMART is a Japanese software company, has several software solutions. Particular among them, INTRAMART has top market share in workflow automation software, not BPM software. I would like to introduce our workflow automation software, but first of all, I will explain from special feature of Japanese workflow. Japanese companies have the unique decision-making model called Ringi system. In Ringi system, the applicant prepares the business plan and makes a document called Ringi show. The applicant circulates the document within the organization and receives approvals. Characteristically, the document is circulated to all stakeholders in the organization. There are 3 types of stakeholders. First type is all employees in the same hierarchy of the applicant. Second type is the responsible manager of the applicant. Workflow is not over there. Last type is all managers between responsible manager and executive officer. Therefore, Ringi system became many steps workflow. This is very time consuming as the paper document is circulated in many step workflow. There is a demand for digitalizing and automating this circulation in Japan. For Ringi system, INTRAMART provides the efficient solutions called IM workflow. Characteristically, return lines can be omitted. Omitted, so that it is easier to maintain multi-step workflow. If described Ringi system with BPMN format, the process diagram becomes very complicated with many return lines. By using I'm macro without describing return lines, the approver of each node can send back to any node. The previous page was simple example, but real ring system become very complicated, like this diagram. Where INTRAMART has provided solution to the Japanese approval process, but about 4 years ago, our big client began to request solutions for not only approval process, but also real business process. So we looked for BPM software to manage the actual business process in cooperation with our workflow automation software. We examined various BPM engines, such as Camunda, Bonitasoft, and Intario. But we chose Activiti because Activiti is easiest to be embedded and seems to be the most stable and has high extensibility. From here, I will introduce how we embedded Activiti engine into our product. First, Activiti engine has 2 integration options. The first option is to embed Activiti engine to your application. Since Activiti engine is written in Java, if your application is written in Java, Activiti engine can be easily embedded to your application. The second option is to manage Activiti engine as independent application and integrate your application by using REST API. Activiti provides the project for REST API called Activiti REST. From these 2 options, we chose the first option. The main reason is we need to integrate Activiti engine within the same database transaction. To embed, we examined the clustering architecture of Activiti engine. Basically, Activiti engine has a simple and stateless clustering architecture. Clustering can be done by only referring to the same database from each node. Activiti engine has no state like session and mutable cache in each node. Activiti engine don't messaging between each node. So Activiti engine don't conflict with INTRAMART stateful clustering architecture. INTRAMART has sessions and mutable caches. Among which updating the state of each node, INTRAMART sends message to each node using JGroups. So initially we was worried if Activiti engine has stateful clustering architecture, network traffic will increase. However, Activiti engine was a very stateless architecture, so there was no problem. In this way, there was no conflict in architecture points, but there were some conflict in functions. But Activiti engine has pluggable architecture, so we could replace duplicate function with our own implementation. Activiti engine provides an extension point for each component. By implementing the interface, we could develop our own implementation for each component. And by using process engine configuration class, we could plug our own implementation into Activiti engine. Of course, if you use Spring Framework, you can plug your own implementation by using application context. These are some examples that we replace the implementation. Among them, especially, I will introduce identity management case. As a premise, Activity Engine has its own table for managing users and groups, and provides full identity management function called Identity Service. But actually, Activity Engine's process configuration, process execution depends on only one part of Identity Service. Process execution depends on only resolving groups of users. So by replacing only that part, we could integrate Activity Engine with our own identity management. About resolving groups of users, Activity Engine provides Group Identity Manager interface. We implement this interface so that Activity Engine resolves groups of users by accessing our own identity management system. Next, we implement Session Factory interface. Session Factory manages the mapping between the Group Identity Manager interface and its implementation. Lastly, we set our own Session Factory implementation into Process Engine configuration. From here, I will introduce two examples about we extended Activity Engine for our customers' demand. First case is deployment class loader function. Deployment class loader load classes included in the deployment file without restarting server. Developer implements Java delegate for service tasks along with process definition in Activity Designer. At deployment time, developers can reflect Java delegate classes on the server. In order to achieve this, we need to implement our own class loader and set it to Process Engine configuration. So I will explain the mechanism of deployment class loader. First, we extended Activity Designer for including the jar file in deployment bar file. In doing so, at the deployment time, jar file is also stored as resource in Activity Engines table. And process is executed by retrieving jar file in the deployment from Activity Engines table and placing it the temporary area of application server. Process Engine creates each class loader referring that jar file. By using this class loader, Process Engine load classes in deployment file without restarting server. Next, I will introduce Process Instance Migration function. By using this function, we can move process instance to any location in same or different process definition. Of course, Activity Engine provides a similar solution called set process definition command. By using this command, we can move process instance to any version of the same process definition. However, it is moved to the same location and same process definition. In order to respond to our customer's demand, this command was not enough. So we made custom command called Process Instance Migration command. By using this command, we can move process instance to any location in same or different process definition. This is a page to execute a process instance migration command. The upper part is the process instance before migration. The lower part is the destination process definition. By checking elements, we can move process instance to any element. To implement this command, we use the internal API called execution entity. Execution entity is to manage a state of process executions. Briefly, execution entity have active position in process instance. For example, if the process diagram is straight, only one execution entity will be generated for the entire process instance. If process instance is running in parallel, by using parallel gateway, multiple execution entity will be generated. One is for the entire process instance, the rest is for each branches. And by manipulating execution entity, we can manipulate in the location of process instance. First, we move execution entity for entire process instance. Next, we remove other execution entity. Lastly, if necessary, we add execution entity other than process instance. In this way, by directly manipulating the internal API, we realize the process instance migration. From here, I will introduce our BPM suite product called IMBPM. IMBPM is the BPM suite product that based on Activiti engine, like Activity Explorer or APS. This time, I will explain only tool stack. First, IMBPM provides two process modeling tool. One is our customized activity designer. If developer use Java service task, we need to use this one. The other one is web-based process modeling tool called Process Designer. This is based on JavaScript drawing library called MX Graph. Process Designer is our original process modeling tool. The second runtime part is, of course, Activity engine. Lastly, the management of part is our original web-based tool called IMBPM. IMBPM is based on Vue.js. Well, let me just demo a little. Demo story is have 4 steps. Firstly, I will deploy two process definition developed in Process Designer. Next, I will create process instance from first process definition and completing task. Besides, I will show process instance state and history. Lastly, I will move process instance to another location in the other process definition. Then I will begin demo. This page is process diagram in each project is managed. These two sorry. Please. Sorry. This page is process diagram in each page is managed. And these two process definition is for demo. One is one straight diagram. The second is using parallel gateway. Here I will introduce Process Designer a little. The left side, each BPM element are arranged. And drag and drop to the diagram. And like this, each element can be connected with sequence flow. And right side, we can set properties. Then I will return the project page. Okay, and I will deploy this to process definition. Okay, and let's start process instance from first process definition. Input business key. Okay, display task list. First task is assigned. In this demo, I use no form. So I will directly completing task. Next, I will show the process instance detail page. In this page, we can see the state in process diagram and process instance history. Now, instance wait the user task 2. Okay, and next I will show the process instance migration page. First, select the destination process definition. And this page is process instance migration page. This is a process instance before migration. And this is a destination process definition. And checking and execute. Okay, process instance is migrate to another process definition. And now is two task is wait. Task list convert to two tasks. Demo is over. Lastly, I will introduce our customer use case. First case is Japanese comic book publisher called Kodansha. This user manages the full business process from planning of comic book to actual release of comic book by using BPM. This diagram is the overview Kodansha process. Firstly, approval process for book planning is executed. In parallel with approval process, various preparation process for publication is executed. For example, preparation of ebook, collaboration with magazines, legal procedures. When they are over, the process instance waits at timer catchment. This timer is the release date. Characteristically, as the release date changes, the message will be sent, and the process will return a start event. However, using inclusive gateway, only process that depends on the release date is executed again. Second case is Japanese electronic commerce company called Yahoo Japan. Yahoo Japan has a point management system for customers and sales promotion for adding points to customers who purchase items that match the conditions. Yahoo Japan manages this sales promotion process from planning to the actual execution by using BPM. This sales promotion process three sub-processes in series. First sub-process is simple approval process for promotion planning. The second is preparing promotion. The last sub-process is execution of promotion. Here is the second sub-process for preparing promotion. This subprocess will execute each preparing promotion in parallel. For example, legal procedure, making a website and banner, and data mining condition for giving point. And next is last subprocess for execution promotion. First, the process wait for promotion end date at timer catch event. After promotion end event, this process performs adding point processing by using service task. However, since actual processing is performed on the point management system side, this service task only transmit a request to point management system. And the point management system send message by using REST API after adding point processing. And after this message catch event, this process branches depends on processing result. In the result of processing is failure, this process retry automatically several times. If the number of failure exceeded the limit, manual restoration work is performed. This concluded my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.